जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिधरधारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिधरधारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी।
यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रंजन
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन
यमुना तीरवनाचार्य
यमुना तीरावनचारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिधरधारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी।
यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रंजन
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन
यमुना तीरवनाचार्य
जमुना तीरावनचारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिधरधारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे हरे
हरे राम
हरे
हरे
राम
राम राम
राम राम हरे
हरे
हरे।
हरे।
कृष्णा हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai.
Jaya Goranita, Jaya Goranita, Jaya Goranita, Jaya Goranita.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol,
Vivo.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nityai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nityai Gora Hari Bol.
नाम संकीर्तन की
Hari Bol.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की
Jai,
श्रील प्रभुपाद की
Jai.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome you all for today's Bhagavatam reading class. And today we are reading from Canto 5 and chapter 9 and text 9. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam
Narayanam
Namaskrityam
Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram
Naram
Chaiva Narottamam
Namaskrityam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim
Devim Saraswati
Saraswatim
Vyasam
Vyasam
Tado Jayamudiraye.
Tato
Tato
Jayam Udire
Jayamudiro
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nashtapraeshu
Amayesu
Abhadreshu
Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam
Nityam
Bhagavata
Bhagavata
Sevaya
Sevaya
Bhagavatirutama Shloke
Bhagavati
Bhagavati
Uttam
Uttam
Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki.
Bhaktir
Bhakti
Bhavati
Bhavati
Nettaki.
Nestaki
Reciting the verse, please repeat after me, dear devotees. Yesham kalu mahayogi
येषां खलु महायोगी
Yogi
Bharato jeshta shrestha
भरतो
guna
भरतो
Bharto
ज्येष्ठः
Jeshta
श्रेष्ठगुणः
Guna
ashid enedham varsham
आसीद्येनेदं
Asidhyanam
वर्षं
Vasham
Bharatam iti व्यापदिशन्ति
Bhaktam
भारतमिति
iti
व्यपदिशन्ति
vyapadishanti
येषां खलु महायोगी
येषां
yesam
खलु
khalu
महायोगी
mahayogi
भरतो ज्येष्ठतः श्रेष्ठगुणा
bharto jeshtha shrestha guna
आशीर्येनेधं वर्षम्
आसीद्येनेदं
आसिर्yenedam
वर्षम्
varsham
भारतम् इति व्यपदिशन्ति
bharatam iti vyapadishanti
येषां खलु महायोगी
येषां
yesam
खलु
khalu
महायोगी
mahayogi
भरतो ज्येष्ठः श्रेष्ठगुणा
bharto jeshtha shrestha guna
आशीर्येणेधं वर्षम्
आशीर्येनेदं
वर्षम्
varsham
भारतम् इति व्यपदिशन्ति
bharatam iti
भारतमिति
vyapadishanti yesam khalu mahayogi
येषां
खलु
खलु
महायोगी
महायोगी
bharto jeshtha shrestha guna
भरतो
भरतो
ज्येष्ठः
श्रेष्ठा
श्रेष्ठगुणः
गुणा
आशीर्येनेदं वर्षम्
आसीद्येनेदं वर्षम्
आशीर्येणेधं
भारतमिति व्यपदिशन्ति
भारतमिति
भारतमिति
व्यपदिशन्ति
व्यपदिशन्ति
येषां खलु महायोगी
येषां खलु
येषां खलु महायोगी
भरतो ज्येष्ठः श्रेष्ठगुणा
भरतो
भरतो
ज्येष्ठः श्रेष्ठा गुणा
श्रेष्ठगुणा
आसीद्येनेदं वर्षम्
आशीर्येनेदं
आशीर्येणेदं
वर्षम्
वर्षम्
भारतमिति व्यपदिशन्ति
भारतमिति व्यपदिशन्ति
We'll read word to word translations. Yesham,
येषां
of whom,
of whom
Kalu,
Kalu
indeed,
indeed
Mahayogi,
महायोगी
Mahayogi,
a very exalted devotee of the Lord,
a very highly exalted devotee of the Lord.
Bharataha,
Bharataha,
Bharata,
Bharata,
Jeshtaha,
Jeshtaha,
Jeshtaha, the eldest,
the eldest,
Shrestha,
Shrestha Guna,
Shrestha Guna,
श्रेष्ठगुणः
qualified with the best attributes,
qualified with the best attributes.
Ashit,
आसीत्
Asit
was,
was,
Yena,
येन
Yena,
by whom,
by whom,
Idam,
Idam,
this,
this,
Varsham,
वर्षं
Varsham,
planet,
planet,
Bharatam,
भारतं
Bharatam,
Bharata,
भारत
Bharata,
Iti,
इति
Iti,
thus,
thus,
Vyapadishanti,
Vyapadishanti,
people call.
people call.
Translation, please repeat after me. Of Rishabhadev's 100 sons,
of
Of
Rishabhadev's
Rishabhadev's 100 sons,
the eldest,
the
the
eldest
eldest,
named Bharata,
named
named Bharata,
was a great exalted
was a great
devotee,
exalted devotee,
qualified with the best attributes.
qualified with the best attributes.
In his honor,
in his
In
honor
his honor,
this planet has become
this planet has become
known as Bharatavarsha.
known as
Bharatavarsha.
Bharatvarsha.
Powered by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Yeah.
This planet, known as Bharatavarsha, is called Punya Bhumi, the pious land. At the present moment, Bharatbhumi or Bharatavarsha is a small piece of land extending from the Himalaya mountains to Cape Comorin. Sometimes this peninsula is called Punya Bhumi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given a special importance to the people of this land. Bharata Bhumi te haila manushya janmayara janma sartaka karya kara para upakara. One who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India, Bharatavarsha, should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. CC Adi 9.41. The inhabitants of this piece of land are very fortunate. They can purify their existence by accepting this Krishna conscious movement and go outside Bharata Bhumi, India, and preach this cult to benefit the whole world. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshorunmaitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadhantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Sri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome you all for today's Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Katha. So today, this is a beautiful verse that we are reading from Srimad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 5, the text 9 of the chapter 4. The chapter name is entitled as The Characteristics of Rishabhadeva. So we have been reading about Rishabhadeva even in the last chapter and this chapter. The characteristics are specifically Rishabhadeva is none other than a supreme personality of Godhead. So Lord incarnated as the Rishabhadeva. Sri Rishabhadeva is not just a king. He's the avatar of Lord. So we are glorifying we are seeing the glories of Rishabhadeva characters. And today we are in text 9. Until here, how the Nabhi's affection towards his son Rishabhadeva. We have seen the Vatsalya affection in the previous verses. And here we see even Rishabhadeva he's perfected his brahmachari life and the grihastha life. And now in his grihastha life, here the introduction of his lineage is discussed. So in this where we sit in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in this canto 5 is where we are reading through the lineage of King Priyavrata. So from great King Priyavrata, we see Agnidhara, and Agnidhara's son is King Nabhi, and King Nabhi's son is Rishabhadev. And from Rishabhadev, so this whole dynasty is being discussed. The glorious parampara has been discussed in this canto and in this chapter. And in this text particularly, we see Rishabhadev's sons. He has got 100 sons. And out of 100 sons, the eldest and the best is Bharata. So we see in this verse it is said, excuse me. In this verse, it is said that from this planet has become Bharata Varsha because of King Bharata. So just few verses before we have read what is a planet called just before Bharata Maharaj appeared or ruled. It's before it became Bharata Varsha. What is it called? If anyone could recollect and mention here, it would be great.
Buddhi.
Sorry, Mataji.
Jambudip.
Jambu Dweep, yes, it is the whole Varsha, the planet. In the, I think in text 3 in this chapter, it is mentioned, it's called Ajanaba. Ajanaba, it's mentioned because of Nabi. Because Nabi appeared and he ruled and perfected. Before Bharata, it is called Bharata Varsha, it is called Ajanaba. And it's also explained further. We'll see in chapter 7. Right now we are in chapter 5. In chapter 7, it is explained in the 3rd verse. Formerly, this planet is known as Ajanaba Varsha. But since Bharata Maharaja reigned this place, it is known as Bharata Varsha. So that's what. We'll see more about it. How Bharata Maharaj exemplified his ruling and how exalted devotee he was. That's why this place is called Bharata Varsha. So we'll see that further, but this is just an introduction saying that, oh, this is the personality whom the planet is named after. So there are, in this, Prabhupada has given a wonderful purport, which we will go into deeply. So before starting into the purport, this land, whole Varsha, the planet, is named after a devotee. Can you imagine? We see in previous cantos or chapters, we know how many times, number of innumerable incarnations Lord appeared in this land, the same land. Lord appeared as Varaha, Lord appeared as Matsya, Kurma, Rama, Krishna, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. But this countless incarnation has appeared and great wonderful pastimes have been performed on this place. Yet, this land is named, before was Ajanaba Varsha. Now, this land is named after King Bharata, who is called Bharata Varsha. Why is that? This shows the heart of the Lord Sri Krishna, where he takes more delight in glorifying his devotees, right? We know very well the title, I don't have Bhagavad Gita right now. If you see the page of Bhagavad Gita, the cover of Bhagavad Gita, we knows how merciful Lord is, how he keeps his devotees in a higher position and he takes a lower position. That is his Bhakta Vatsalya nature. He could have killed a whole army of Duryodhana just by sight, even by thought. But he made Arjuna to do it so that he gets the credit. Lord always wants his devotees to get credit. We see Lord Ramachandra. He can find Sita Devi. He can even find Lanka, whatever, even in a fraction of seconds. But he wants the Vanaras to take credit. Of the Vanaras, he wants his pure devotee, Hanuman, to take credit. So that he puts his devotees in first place. So that's what here again we see. The planet is named after a devotee rather than the Lord's. Rishabdev was just perfected and he's supreme personality. He appeared. But instead of Rishabdev, the before one, Nabi is put on a throne, and then Bharata Maharaj, not the Rishabdev. So that shows how great the Lord is. This reminds me, once someone asked Srila Prabhupada, so this is how to identify your disciples. So this is the great qualities of devotees and disciples, which are discussed in this verse, which will come, and then we'll come to the pastime. So in this verse, we see that why this King Bharata Maharaj is given that importance. There are two characteristics of Bharata Maharaj that are discussed here. One is Shrestha Guna, right? He's Shrestha Guna. He has got a great qualities. That's why he's considered as a great devotee. So one might understand, like, these are great qualities he possesses. Like we see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are a number of Vaishnava, 26 qualities of Vaishnavas have been discussed. All these are in Bharata Maharaj. So is it the qualities that made him devotee? No. The cause of devotion. It's not the cause of the devotion. It is the symptom of the devotion. Because he is just following the instructions which we see in the next chapters of Rishabhadev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his father. Because he has complete faith and devotion, he has got his great Shrestha Gunas manifested. So he is endowed with the best qualities because he has got devotion to Krishna. So this is what, when one becomes a devotee, the great qualities manifest in himself. And it is the qualities that are more important. It is the character. So character has been praised in this verse because character is more important than the external achars. That's what Srila Prabhupada was asked, a reporter, which I was about to say. How can we identify your followers? Someone asked. And Srila Prabhupada didn't say that, oh, they wear sari, they wear dhoti, they wear kurta, they wear saffron. He didn't say how they chant or dance or anything. All he said was one statement: you will know my disciples because they are perfect gentlemen, perfect ladies. So Srila Prabhupada was showing us how a devotee should be known by his character. So the best qualities of Bharata Maharaj is exemplified here. So devotees has to stand to that character. That's what we all have as a sadhakas, point to point. We have to check on us whether we are behaving, how our behavior is towards other devotees or towards people in general, not just devotees, towards Mother Earth, towards the nature, towards any living being for that matter, not just devotees, animals or creatures. It all matters. That is a character that is very important. It is all good when we have to speak in Bhagavatam class, we have to speak to devotees or preach to devotees, it's fine. But actual character is tested when the things won't work out for us. When the things go around and come against us, that's where our actual qualities, the gunas, sadachar, come out. So that is the biggest test that a devotee goes through, and all of us go through that. Whenever there is provoking situations, whenever there is a disappointments, that's where we have to consciously check, okay, whatever characters have been showing so far, is it really me? So we have to think about that. As Mahaprabhu says, the top crown jewel of all these Vaishnava qualities is humility. Mahaprabhu says, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna. So how a devotee has to be humble than a blade of a grass. So that humility gives all other Vaishnava characters. So that is, all is come only when we have faith and devotion to the lotus feet of the Lord. That's what we see King Bharata has. That's why he's called in this verse the Shrestha Guna. The second character that is explained, that is mentioned about Bharata Maharaj is Mahayogi. You know, yogi is one who meditates or trying to connect to the Lord. But he's not just a yogi, he's Mahayogi. What does this Mahayogi means? What does he do? Lord explains in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, text 47, where he says, Yoginamapi sarvesham madgatirantaraatmana shraddhavan bhajati yomam same yukta tamo mataha. He defines who is this Mahayogi. His topmost yogi is the one who worships the Supreme Lord Krishna with faith and the love things that this Mahayogi, the highest yogi, possesses. And we see Bharat Maharaj is called Mahayogi. So he has got a great devotion, faith towards Krishna, and he got obviously all the characters. That is the Shrestha Guna. That's why he is glorified in this verse. And we see the glories of Bharata Maharaj throughout this canto. More further 3-4 chapters are dedicated to Bharata Maharaj activities. And in this verse, Srila Prabhupada purport, the first statement, Prabhupada says, Punya Bhumi. This place is called Punya Bhumi. This Bhartavarsha is called Punya Bhumi. We need to understand what does it mean. Why the land is called sacred? Because there are multiple reasons or the qualifications or the criteria to be the land called a Punya Bhumi. First is place is holy because the lotus feet of the Lord was placed and pastimes have been performed. And second, it's the most important reason. The second is the devotees of the Lord were present in that place. And the devotees prayed for the Lord to appear. And devotees has lived through the scriptures. And the scriptures, the basis of the human existence, are spoken in the land. That's why that land is called Punya Bhumi. So if we understand this geographically, if we consider India as a Punya Bhumi, yes, we see still amid lots of impersonalists, atheists, there is so much degradation in the culture. Still, we see uniquely that land is conducive for spiritual practice. Unique. So no matter how much degrade it is, but there is a potency in the land. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that what Srila Prabhupada explains, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorifies. This stresses the rare fortune of human birth in holy place, like Punya Bhumi, like Bharatavarsha. So that's what is the emphasis on. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Bharata Bhumite Haile Manushya Janmayara Janma Sartaka Kari Kara Upakara. We'll go into that verse more detail. But saying that, yes, definitely, it is pure, it is Punya Bhumi. But Bhagavatam gives us beautiful explanation. This holy land is not confined to a geographical location. Why? Because of the mercy of the Artable. Holy land travels. That's what Bhagavatam says. Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 10 says, Bhavat Vidha Bhagavatas Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirti Kurvanti Tirtani Swantastena Gadabhrata. So Lord is saying, so here it is mentioned, devotees are like holy places. These Bhagavatas are like Tirthi Bhutas Swayam Vibho. They are themselves like holy places. Wherever they go, that place becomes a holy place. That is because they carry the personality of Godhead with them. They carry the message of Krishna and they give the message of Krishna. So wherever they go, they turn that place into a place of pilgrimage. So that is the beauty. That is a Punya Bhumi. So no more it's confined to a small place or a small geographical location. Anywhere these great devotees travel and give the message of Krishna, that is called Punya Bhumi. Lord himself says in Padma Purana as well. We have heard this verse many times. Lord says, Naham vasami vaikunte. I don't reside in, this is Lord is saying to Narada Muni, I don't reside in Vaikunta. Yoginam hridayena cha, not in the heart of yogis as well. He says, Madbhakta yatra ghayanti, tatra tishtami Narada. Madbhakta yatra ghayanti. This is a Sankirtan movement. Wherever my devotees sing my glories, tatra tishtami Narada. So there I go and sit. That place becomes a holy place. So this gives, this is the definition of a Punya Bhumi that the Lord is saying. So we see in next Saturday we have a Kirtan festival, like 8 hours of Kirtan from afternoon, right? So that, not just Saturday, every time there is a Kirtan, our Brisbane temple, whether it's a home, wherever it is, there is a Sankirtan Yajna happening, the Lord comes and personally sits there. So that place becomes a Vaikunta. That place becomes the residence of the Lord. That place becomes the Punya Bhumi. So that is a glory. That is a glory of a devotee. That is a glory of Harinam Sankirtan Yajna. So when we see the verse again, let's come into the deep dive into the verse of mentioned by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, where Bharata Bhumi Hele Manushya Janma Yara. It says one who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India, Bharatavarsha. What are the main duties of that person mentioned here? One is Janma Sartaka. That is, his life should make his life successful. And the second is not just being selfish. Once he's successful, then kara para upakara. That means do the preaching activity. So do the welfare of others by giving this message. That is the main duty of the one who takes birth in Punya Bhumi. There is one person that fits in this, that lives through every single syllable of this word. Every single. Na bhuto, na bhavishyat. No one has done what this person has done in the past nor in the future. And we all know that personality, right? Abhaycharanaravinda. His Divine Grace Abhaycharanaravinda, Srila Prabhupada. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada has done it. So every syllable of this word is lived through Srila Prabhupada's life when we understand how he has taken a birth in Bharata Bhumi, obviously Punya Bhumi, and he was well settled. He's a pure devotee by birth, so he's happy, and he is in Vrindavan. What else we want? At the age of 70, he was in Vrindavan. He is right in the Dham, meditating on Krishna's pastimes and writing books. He is well settled, but he's so compassionate. He's, as Janma Sartaka, his Janma is Sartaka, but he's thinking of what Mahaprabhu is saying here, Kara Para Upakara. He's only thinking of welfare of others. So there were so many challenges. Age is the first challenge. At the age of 69, 68, someone to go out 60 years ago without any flight or anything, any arrangements to go and preach to the West. But he only thinks of his spiritual master's instruction and the compassion that he has towards the entire humanity, that he want to go and give this message of Krishna to the West. But Srila Prabhupada did. No one ever before, no one after Srila Prabhupada has done such an amount of social welfare. We have seen now after Srila Prabhupada, there are various glorious personalities in different sampradayas, acharyas, different bona fide sampradayas. They are coming. Inspired by Srila Prabhupada, there are thousands of people who are coming to the West and started to preach. Yes, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. But the amount of contribution that Srila Prabhupada has done, no one ever have done before and can even match in future. So that's what Srila Prabhupada has given us. And the courage that Srila Prabhupada had, the mood that Srila Prabhupada had, he was feeling so bad as people in India when he tried to preach, even though born in the holy land, born in the so-called Punya Bhumi, but going away from Krishna. It was aching his heart so much. Then he had reversed the strategy. Then he was like, okay, these people are just looking towards the west and getting influenced, and they want to just follow them. Okay, let me do something. I will go to the west and make all the westerners devotees of Krishna, and by looking at them, these people get inspired and take up Krishna consciousness. So that's what is happening. We see every Indian, every NRI that is throughout the world, more Indians are taking up Krishna consciousness. But that's not the message. But because they think, oh, even the Westerners are doing it. That's what Srila Prabhupada during his time, once he started preaching in the West, he got the white bodied and or Indian and all those people to India, and he made them dance to the Sankirtan. He made them Nagar Sankirtan in our streets of Bombay, streets of Gujarat. We see how people were so enthusiastically looking at them and inspiring from them, even in Vrindavan. So he has done that. He used to say, oh, look at these are my dancing white elephants. So proudly, Srila Prabhupada got his disciples and inspired even people in India to take up Krishna consciousness very, very seriously, very seriously. So he has done he has done preaching inside, outside. When he was outside India, his focus was to preach the people in local people. Local people was so strong. We see, I read in Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, when Srila Prabhupada in Kenya, South Africa, in Kenya, where he did a preaching program in a house or a community place, where he started, and there were four or five, that is Indian origin people. Then Srila Prabhupada said, where are the actual African people here? Yeah. They said, oh, they're not interested. All that reasons were given. Srila Prabhupada said, I'm not going to start the class now. So he made the doors open wide, and he said these devotees to just go out and do some is to just go out and do kirtan loudly and enthusiastically. Kirtan people, local people into the room where she started preaching. The mood of Srila Prabhupada is low. The person should get purified. And how much before he was even taking this step, there were so many hurdles for him. As we just discussed, age is a hurdle, and there were so many hurdles saying like, oh, sannyasis cannot cross the ocean. And that is actually Vedic tradition. Even till today, some sannyasis do follow. And there were so many obstacles saying like, oh, there is a very wild weather, and in your age, that freezing cold, how will you bear? Don't go, don't go. All that was given. But Srila Prabhupada never took them seriously. And we see how great devotees in the lineage are doing it. Like, this is the mode of Hanuman. Hanuman was trying to cross about to, decided to jump over the ocean and see Mother Sita. And Angad asked him, are you sure you know what is on the other side? You go there, but will you be able to come back? Because there is Lanka, that is the place of Ravana. We know that. He's a demon. Are you sure? But Hanuman just said, no. All I have given the task of finding Mother Sita. So that is my aim, that is my goal. I will not think of, oh, what happens. So that is because not just taking the risk for no reason, because it's coming from authority. It is given from authority, even for Srila Prabhupada. This is the instruction of his spiritual master. So that's why that is the authority is given. So he has taken the risk of fulfilling the orders of spiritual master. So that is the power of a devotee. Wherever Srila Prabhupada went, that place has become pilgrimage. We know everywhere, every temple, every house, who has deities, who has Sankirtan, who has Bhagavatam, no matter even having Bhagavad Gita, enough. That place becomes a holy place because the message of Krishna is present. This is the power of a devotee. And there is one ancient story on this, how devotees are powerful. So there is one sage who is been traveling through the villages. So he traveled to 2 different villages with his disciple. He went to the first village and he saw people are perfect. They are very exemplary in their behavior, sadachar. They have got all the great qualities of a devotees. They're humble. They're following all the practices. Amazingly, this whole village is so perfect. And the village, the people over there came to this sage and asked, please bless us. And this sage blessed. Let there be some calamity in this village and make you all run away from this village. It's very bewildering and very astonishing blessing. And then he goes to the second village. There he sees Lechas, Yavanas, there is Chandalas. They don't follow any regulative principle and there's so much violence, so much intoxication. They are completely violating principles. That is fully ignorant place. And that they also came and asked, oh, bless us because you have come, the great sage, please bless us. And he says, let Lord give you prosperities that you don't come out of this village, stay here only. And when they stepped out, the disciple was very, very strangely looking at the spiritual master and said, why did you bless like this? I don't understand your intentions. So the sage explains, see, the first village where we have great people at Nisar, they are amazing. So I bless them to just get some calamity to go out of the village. So they can go to multiple places, and wherever they go, that whole place will be transformed into another great Punya Bhumi. So I better curse them to go everywhere so that they go and preach this great message of Krishna. Whereas the second village, where the people are fully ignorant, if they step out of their village, they will contaminate the other people. So it's better they stay in their place only and then not contaminate their other people's consciousness. So this reveals, this explains how importance of the devotees or importance of association for that matter. So we need to be cautious as well whenever we are going out and taking the association. It's a important check that we need to do, what kind of association that we are taking. No matter we can say, oh, I know my principles and values. It is quite natural if we are associating with the wrong people, they can influence us. So that's why it's very important. The power of association is explained in this past and this everything. So previous is a step forward, give a priority from our schedule to make sure we are there. That step we need to do. For us, taking that step out and make associating with the devotees and the kirtan and the sankirtan movement and the classes is in our hands. That's where we can perfect our lives. So again, it's very important to understand the concept here, the Punya Bhumi. Punya Bhumi is not just a place. Wherever there is devotees visited, we also see in many ISKCON temples, wherever whatever Srila Prabhupada has used, wherever Srila Prabhupada stayed, that room is preserved. Those things are preserved because they are very sacred. That is itself is a Punya Bhumi. And we see wherever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled South India, now devotees, like there are so many places preserved and built temples. So it's very, very, the prominence is given where the acharyas are traveling. This is becomes so sacred. More than a place, sometimes we see the instructions are more important. That becomes a goal of devotees, as we just discussed in Srila Prabhupada life. And even we see many Srila Prabhupada disciples, just they didn't stick to place, they didn't stick to dham, they didn't stick to country. They just went where Srila Prabhupada wants them to go. That's their dham. The instruction is there, dham. Following the instruction is the core bottom line of all this essence of it. Following the instructions of the spiritual master will please. Yasya prasade bhagavat prasade. So like that it comes to, once we know the spiritual master and great devotees following their instructions will please, just pleasing them will please the Supreme Lord, no matter where we are. Whether it's Dham, whether it's any other country. So I was listening to a class where Prabhu was sharing this great devotee of Srila Prabhupada, disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Now he's very old, was talking to this Prabhu and said, early days, first instruction that Srila Prabhupada gave, he's translate books into Arabic language and distribute them. That was around 60 years, 50 years ago. And this man has been doing all through his life in Middle East countries. It's very hard, right? In Middle East countries and communist countries, where it's very hard to preach great message of Krishna consciousness. But he is using his intelligence, his every day doing different strategies so that this message is gone to people. The translations are continuously happening and the books are continuously distributing. And he mentions he distributed in last 2 years around 250,000 of books. 250,000 books were distributed in Arabic language. But he now he's so sad and sorrow that I hope I do this until now I'm becoming old and everything. I just pray that I do this until end of my last breath. And this devotee is praying that there is, I hope, there's someone else in this youth or the next generation takes this instruction and carrying out. So that was his worry. His worry is not that, oh, I'm not in Dham, I'm not in this country, I'm not in that country. His all life is dedicated to the instruction of Srila Prabhupada. So that is the power of a pure devotee. He can give that strength to his followers as well. And the message here, which Srila Prabhupada has lived, is we have to do paropakara, the preaching activity, but we should also be conscious, janma sarthaka. We should always be consciously trying to purify ourselves, follow the great characters that's mentioned, Vaishnava qualities, and then preach, right? Because preaching means nothing but selling bhakti, right? In a marketing language, if you say you're selling something to someone, it's not that how nicely you speak, how nicely you dress up. No, it's not about that. It's about your character. When we are preaching, that means we start a bhakti rickshaw or we go out and preach, but it's your character that sells the product. That's very important. That's our sadachar. That's our qualities. When something goes wrong, how we are behaving it. So that is why it is called, books are the basis, purity is the force, preaching is the essence. Yes, we have to preach, but there should be a purity. And we know it comes. It's a long process. It's not a day one that I become a pure devotee. No, it's a process that takes time. But the process is perfect. While purifying ourselves, if we do the preaching, if we have that intention, if we have that humility, okay, I'm not yet pure, but I want to genuinely give this message of Krishna to others. At the same time, I want to imbibe all the qualities. The genuine desire is there, and we continue this preaching mission by giving books, by giving this message of Krishna, by giving what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Then we see the success in preaching. Rather, if we just do it for the sake of, oh, maybe I get some name, I get some fame, maybe I'll be given so and so credits. So if that is the intention, we don't see the preaching also won't work out very well. So it is nothing but your sadachar, it's your intentions, then it happens. How we can correct, as we say, definitely I am in a very, very, very initial stages of even neophyte, not even category of a neophyte bhakta. But how can we even attempt to preach? How can we even attempt to purify myself? Because we have to take shelter of Guru who is pure. And we, practically thinking, our Guru won't be next to us all the time. How can we just see whether I'm doing right or wrong? Whether I'm taking a step that is selfish or selfless, or whether I'm trying to please Krishna or not? We have to take the constant guidance of senior devotees. So, Guhyati Prati Grihnati. That's what the secret, that instruction that Rupa Goswami gives, that we have to share our secrets. Sometimes we might feel low, sometimes we might feel not great, but I've done this. Is this a right? Do I need to continue this, or do I need to change my approach to preaching to others? Or I have reacted in a situation like this. Is it right or wrong? So every time we have to check on that. We'll not have spiritual master next to us all the time. So we have to take shelter of guidance of senior devotees. Anything that we are going through. In that way, it is guaranteed. Now it's a safe network. We can preach even though we are not pure yet, right? It's a process. So as long as we are under the guidance of a proper Vaishnavas and in the association and in the community, and keeping that constant check on us, constant getting the feedback from the devotees, that will help us to actually fulfill this verse, fulfill the instructions of the masters, that janma sartaka kare kara upakar, para upakar. So we can do the welfare of others, definitely. That is a responsibility of everyone who knows the message of Krishna. Here it is saying Bharatabhumi, not just Bharatabhumi, as we discussed, whoever got the message of Krishna, it is their responsibility to do the para upakara. To do that para upakara, we have to take the guidance and we have to come to that authority. So that's what, as I just want to summarize what we have discussed. Yes, Rishabhadev's son Bharata is so great just because of his Shrestha Guna and his Shrestha Guna and his Mahayogi, because he's devotee of Krishna, and how Krishna is so compassionately gives the credit to devotees. And we see the definition of the Punya Bhumi. We discussed Punya Bhumi is Bharata Bhumi, no doubt about it. But the Punya Bhumi is portable. Wherever the devotees travel or visit, that place becomes Punya Bhumi, because the essence is message of Krishna. Essence is scriptures. Where the scriptures, where the Sankirtana happening, that becomes Punya Bhumi. And we see the exact exemplified the example of Srila Prabhupada, who exemplified this verse, that he has perfected his life by dedicating his life for preaching Krishna consciousness. And we see the association. How we can also give association, we can also take association. So we need to be very careful. In order to give association, we have to constantly take association. In that way, we can also fulfill the statements or the desires of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, instructions of Mahaprabhu, that Janma Sarthakare Khara Para Upakar. With that, I'll conclude this class. But any corrections, comments, questions, please, Venu. Hare Krishna, devotees.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Shalendra here. I
Yes,
believe
Prabhuji.
Bharatvarsha was the region south of Himalayas and not the whole planet, which you referred to. But you can correct me there. So that was the region called as Bharatvarsha. One. Second thing is Bharatvarsha does not limit just to the political boundaries of India. It was more wider. So when the purport says it's limited now, it's not limited. Bharatvarsha definition still should remain the same as Bharatvarsha. India is a political definition.
Thank you,
That's
Prabhuji,
my
for the wonderful question. Yes, we see in this fifth canto itself how this whole Bhumandala is divided, and Bharatavarsha is clearly explained there. Bharatavarsha is a planet, and Bharatakanda is what you are saying, that India component, or that Bharatakanda. So even if you coming from Indian background and we see any Vedic mantra, any puja that we start, say Bharatavarshe, Bharatakande, Meru, Darshana, Dikva. So whole mantra is chanted to say where we are. So that means Bharatavarsha, Bharatakande. Bharatakanda is that. So we'll see further in this chapter how this whole Bhumandala is divided into 9 varshas, and one of the varsha is Bharatavarsha. That is the whole that planet that we call it as Earth. And in that Earth, there is Bharatakhanda. So we'll see further, Prabhu, in this chapter. So as it is said, Bharatavarsha is a planet, not the just part of it. So that's a Bhagavatam explanation, Prabhuji. And as you said, even Bharata is not limited to, that's what we discussed. It's never limited, as I said. If it's a whole planet, how is it even limited to the Himalayas? But the current definition of what Bharat Desh is said, that's what is mentioned here. But actual, we know from the Bhagavatam definitions, I think it comes very soon in the 5th canto. I think before more further chapters are there, 5-6 chapters. This whole chapter explains how this whole universe is divided, and in that this Bhumandala is divided. In that all the varshas are explained, Prabhuji. That's my understanding. If any other devotees want to correct
Thank you,
me,
Mataji.
please. Thank you, Prabhuji. Any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Sumati. Thank you very much for such a wonderful class. This verse especially is mentioned about the Bharat Varsha, where of course King Bharat, who was the eldest son of Rishwadev, so he is the one who actually was the king. So I was just wondering, that when we read Mahabharat, in Mahabharat, the Bharat Varsha is mentioned as Jambudip. That's what I was, saying initially. So in Mahabharat, it is mentioned Bharat Varsha like a Jambudip. Now, what we say in India, we say India. Actually, India is not actually. It's like a misnomer for Bharat Varsha. It's not Bharat Varsha. We can see now also, according to the history, in different countries, like even you go to Bali, Indonesia, and all that, you can see all those ancient temples over there. And I think it is mentioned about the sons of Ram, Love and Kush, and they had all
Yeah.
these places. So we can see that we are talking about the present, what we called is India. So this is what I can understand, that it's not what we call today's India. So that's one thing I wanted to say. Another thing is such a nice thing you mentioned, that devotees are actually carrying Krishna in their hearts, and wherever they go, the holy place is there. And we can see Srila Prabhupada, he carried Krishna in his heart, and he went to the West, and wherever he went, he made so many, people like Vaishnavas, we can say. Nobody can think about Malaysias and others becoming Vaishnavas. So he made them all because he was carrying Krishna in his heart. So that's really amazing. And Prabhupada, in Radha Damodar temple, the room which they have preserved, where Srila Prabhupada sits, we went once with one of Srila Prabhupada's disciple, His Holiness Shankar Shan Prabhu, and we went there, and we were sitting there, and he said, I come here all the time because Prabhupada said that if you come into this room, whatever you are asking me, whatever you are doing over here, I'm here and listening to you. So that was such a nice thing, which just makes you think that. And whenever I go, I feel the presence of Srila Prabhupada, because it doesn't matter, he's not there like in person, but all his instructions and all what he did for us is there. So these are the places when we go there, we remember them, because whatever they did for us, it's not just going there and offering obeisances. We can actually see that Prabhupada sitting there, and we can talk to Prabhupada. So it's just amazing. And other thing is, for a devotee or a Vaishnava, we read in other verses also that the three things which are the root of the devotion is that we have to have a Nam Ruchi, and second is Vaishnav Seva, and the third is Jiva Deva. And what is Jiva Deva? It's not just not eating meat or things like that, and you become that you are, having Dea to the Jiva. Jiva Dea is preaching, which you mentioned in your class. That means distributing literature, organizing all the Mahakirtanas and Kirtanas. Every Friday, devotees go into the city and they are, distributing books, and you are also doing that. And asking people to chant the name, holy name. That's called Jivadaya. And that was the compassion which Srila Prabhupada had for not just for Bharatvarsh, for all over the world. And that's what our spiritual masters or devotees who are doing that. This is called Jivadaya. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Amazing summary. Amazing. Thank you, Mataji. No other questions and comments. We can end the class here. Thank you so much, devotees, for your association. Please be present every day and then give the association. Grandhara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai.
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 Our grace Sumati Devi Dasi ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Vrinda ki
Thank you.
jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.